So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're gonna take a quick look at Susan, which is my secondary Sporelacer kit gun. Now Susan is made out of the Sporelacer chamber, of course, then I use the Haymaker grip, and finally the Acroyd loader. And I chose those specific parts to have a good balance of crit and status with decent reload speed, okay-ish fire rate, and really nice damage, which then combines really well with the above average 3x combo multiplier. Now why did I make Susan a secondary rather than a primary? Well, first of all, the explosion radius is much bigger, it's about twice as big, and second of all, the primary version of the Sporelacer fires a blob that bounces and explodes with every bounce, whereas the secondary version of the Sporelacer will fire a primary blob that will detonate and then split into 3 smaller blobs that will also detonate. And that combined with the bigger blast radius just sounded a lot more fun. It also makes for a weapon that's not an absolute pain to level for the first time before you can goad it and you can put on a potato, because the blast radius is decent enough and the damage is pretty solid right off the bat. Now, when it comes to the build, there are kind of like 2 ways you can do this, and the choice is yours. So you're definitely going to want to add 4 Forma in addition to a V that you add when you goad the weapon, and you can either go for 4 Vs or 3 Vs and a dash. And we're going to go with Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent for fire rate and multi-shot, Prime Pistol Gambit for crit chance, Prime Target Cracker for crit damage, and then you have a choice. If you go with a V, you can put in Primed Fulmination, so you have bigger explosions that are more likely to overlap, or you can put in a dash and go with Primed Heated Charge for smaller explosions that do more damage. I personally like Primed Fulmination because I tend to do low level content where this fits much better, and we're gonna top it off with Pistol Pestilence and Jolt for corrosive and status. I'm also running Pax Charge here, by the way, so that instead of using a standard magazine, the weapon is using a battery magazine system, so I don't have to worry about ammo. Though with that said, the Pax Charge is mostly there just so I don't have to reload, because the weapon comes with a pretty sizable ammo reserve, so you shouldn't have any ammo issues even without Pax Charge. Now, as you can see over here, the damage is still quite high, even though we are using Primed Fulmination. So if you put on Primed Heated Charge, the damage is gonna be pretty ridiculous. It can even brute force the corpus, though it would of course be better if you either stick with Toxin, which is what the explosion will do by default, or switch it over to Viral, or even Gas. The corrosive in this case is a little bit on the weaker side, and it will have some issues with shield gating. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I mostly made this weapon just so I would have an excuse to put Primed Fulmination on something, but my goodness, what a pleasant surprise, Susan. This weapon is actually quite fantastic. Now I kinda wanna try the primary one as well and see what it will do with like projectile speed and stuff, because the secondary one is really good. The only downside here, and I don't know if it's really a downside, but the particles from the explosion are quite, you know, crazy, so if you're firing really fast in a tight corridor, it can blind you very quickly. Now, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I also think I chose like really good parts for this as well. I wasn't quite sure about the status at first, but now that I've played with it for a little bit, the fact that you get more than one explosion means that status is actually really nice, and you can proc a lot of it over a massive area. Though sometimes I do feel like I would want a little bit more fire rate. The damage isn't like super duper high, but I don't think that's a big deal because of the coverage of the weapon. It's more of a clear weapon, so you use it for the smaller guys, and then you have like a melee weapon or maybe even a primary for something bigger, like an Acolyte in Steel Path. But hey, all in all, I'm pretty happy with how Susan turned out. It's great, so I would definitely recommend you give it a shot as well. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.